And Carla Blanton joining us on the program. She is on the board for Lexington for Everyone. Carla, welcome. Good hearing from you again.
Thank you. Thanks for having me. It's great to see you or talk to you anyway. It's been quite a while, but I appreciate you having me on.
My pleasure. My pleasure. So tell us, listeners, I have to confess, I didn't know a lot about Lexington for Everyone. I'd heard of it, but didn't know much about it. Just kind of give us a thumbnail sketch as to what Lexington for Everyone does and what it's trying to accomplish here in the city.
Sure. Lexington for Everyone is a nonprofit that was formed a couple years ago, and we really wanted to start educating and then begin advocating with people about how our land use policies in Lexington, how the ordinances and different regulations that dictate how we grow and where we grow and when we grow impact their daily lives, and particularly around housing, jobs, and equity. So, for example, most people are feeling the pinch on the cost of homes and rent. So home prices have gone up 80% in the last 10 years. Rent increases. Lexington last year had the 7th highest rent increase in the country, which I think surprised some people. If you go on LBAR and Google, and try and find out homes under $200,000, you'll find maybe 17 homes, townhouses, and condos that fit that range. So that means that our essential workers, the people who keep us safe, police, fire, people who work in our healthcare industry, people who work in childcare, our teachers, can't afford to live here. They're providing essential services that we need, but they can't afford to live here. Another example, from the jobs perspective, we've lost 1,500 jobs that could have come to Lexington and instead were located in the surrounding counties because we don't have the land for jobs, and we've got another 1,000 jobs here in Lexington that are existing jobs that are in danger of leaving because we have no room for expansion. So our land. I
thought it was kind of interesting, Carla, is that you talked about the cost of homes. I didn't interrupt you there, but what's interesting, and this surprised me, is there weren't any new homes for sale under $200,000. The homes that you listed that are available, those are pre-owned. Those are previously built homes. There are not new homes available in Lexington for under $200,000.
That's correct. And part of the other problem is we're only building about 500 new homes a year. If you go back about 20 years ago, Lexington was building about 1,500 or 1,600 new homes a year. So triple the number of homes were being built 20 years ago. And housing studies have shown that we need to be building about 1,700 new homes per year to keep up with that. So for the last 20 years, we've been 1,000 homes short. So that really adds up. And the reason is we've got what's called an urban service boundary. So it's basically a land use boundary that says out of Fayette County, 70% of our land is outside that boundary. And so we really can't do much, if anything, with that land. So 96% of us are living within that 30%. And there's not room left for land and jobs. And so as a result, it's just simple supply and demand. Right, that you learned in high school in your economics class. If there's not the supply to meet the demand, then prices go up, and it's become unaffordable.
Carly, it feels like that it feels like that the kind of homes that they're going almost moving back towards downtown again and renovating older homes. You see a lot of that going on too.
Sure, you do, and it's good that we are doing infill. Lexington for Everyone supports infill and redevelopment as an important tool, but can't be the only tool. And I'll give you another reason why. We're facing looming budget deficits that are going to be in the tens of millions of dollars, and that's going to lead to tax increases if we can't find a way to grow. 60% of our budget comes from occupational taxes, so taxes on jobs. So if we're not increasing jobs, if we're not increasing people who live here, the tax base does not keep pace with demand and with what we need. And so we're going to be looking at tax increases if we can't find a way to increase jobs. You look at a city like Midway, who's benefited from a lot of the jobs that wanted to be in Lexington are now in Midway. They've cut property taxes by 40%, and their occupational tax has gone up 325%. Because they've been welcoming to jobs. And so I think those are kind of things that homeowners and taxpayers should be paying attention to, because our land policies impact what they do on a daily basis in terms of paying taxes, in terms of receiving services, and in terms of finding places to live.
We're talking with Carla Blanton from Lexington for Everyone. You started to touch on attracting corporations and maintaining existing companies here in Lexington, but it's getting increasingly more difficult. I stepped on you there, so I want you to kind of pick up there and talk a little bit about what you were going to say as it pertains to economic development in terms of jobs.
Sure. So Lexington has fewer than 10 sites scattered throughout the county that have at least 10 acres or more that could be built upon. And as you can imagine, again, because of the scarcities, that acreage, it's like $250,000, $300,000 per acre. Whereas if they go out into another county, it might be $50,000. So it's premium, it's very expensive, and some of it just doesn't exist. So we're looking at companies who, again, are leaving or not even coming to Lexington. We don't even know what we're missing out on because site selection consultants will narrow down a list of cities for their clients based on land available, and they know we don't have land available, so they're not even looking here. So that's something that we're really working. The reason that I wanted to come on and talk to you and have your viewers hear this today is because the Urban County Council on Tuesday is going to be reviewing the comprehensive plan goals and objectives. Every 5 years, the city puts together a new plan for how the city will grow, when it will grow, how it will grow, if it will grow. And it's very important that people reach out to their council members and tell them that delay is not a solution, that we need to include just a small targeted amount of land that won't impact the horse farms, that it will be near interstates, out Richmond Road, out Winchester Road, they're sewerable and that can be developed and can ease some of this pressure. So we're asking them, people can either go to lexingtonforeveryone.com or email all the council members at councilmembers-email@lexingtonky.gov just to tell them that we can't continue to kick the can down the road.
Yeah, that was going to be my question, Carla, because so much of the appeal of Lexington is the rolling terrain, the horse farms, and the beauty that people know worldwide. And the question I had was, is the land that you feel like should be opened up for additional housing development and economic development with corporations and companies, this is the kind of land that would not be infringing upon the horse farms, and which is a real part of our heritage.
That's correct. And Lexington for Everyone recognizes that. We have iconic horse farms that are important to our economy, that are important to our brand, that we want to maintain and preserve. And the purchase of development rights, the PDR program, protects those farms in perpetuity. And the land that we are suggesting, and land that also was identified by the Goal 4 work group, which is a group of people that came together from various organizations to look at how can we identify land that would not be impactful to horse farms. And so the land that we're recommending, and it's less than 4% of that acreage outside the urban service boundary, so it's a very small targeted area, is land that will not impact the horse farm. So I think one of our frustrations and one of the reasons we formed is that for too long our community has been given a false choice of we either have to support the horse farms or we have to allow for some growth and expansion. And we can do both, and we must do both. And what we're proposing is a way that we can achieve both of those goals.
Carla, talk to me about Tuesday night. Just a couple of minutes left, but talk to me about Tuesday night again. So this will be presented for discussion. Will decisions be made? Will it be introduced and a vote of change or a vote of plan be at a later date? What takes place on Tuesday, and what's the process?
Sure. So Tuesday at 5 o'clock, the council members will gather and they'll go over the goals and objectives, and that is a draft that has been passed by the Planning Commission, and then it goes to the council for them to vote on. And what they will be doing is going through, we've submitted our suggestions to them, but they will be going through with their own ideas about how to move forward and making changes and additions to those draft goals and objectives. Whether they will actually take a vote and get through all of it Tuesday night, I'm not sure about, but they will begin that process of voting and making changes to those goals and objectives. And this is really the time when the council, when the community can have an impact on how we're going to grow for the next 5 years and really the next 20 years.